Hello and welcome to our webinar for the EU Parliament Simulation Action. This is an introduction to the European Parliament Simulation for Teachers for Europe project, and we'll show you a few hints and tips about how to organize such a simulation action, and about its necessity and the positive features of it. So to begin with, we will start with the project Teachers for Europe. So it targets all the challenges in an equal way, using education as the vehicle for the promotion of principles and values comprising the EU democratic culture. And this is the main feature of this simulation action: to foster democratic culture, to foster participation, and to build these competencies to students, to pupils from the very beginning. We believe that if we build all these competencies, democratic competencies, we will actually create the future democratic citizens. And for us this is very important, and it is important because this is not been built in a way that it is not interactive. First of all, we insist on the interactive building of these skills. This project actually will foster the dialogue among several stakeholders on a social and policy level, and will contribute towards realizing synergies and improving the quality of training and learning through knowledge about Europe and its values, especially in the field of democratic culture. So if we learn about the European values, we will learn about democratic culture and vice versa, and this is very, very important in order to build a better future for everyone. So this project actually will be evolved as a European learning network involving additional schools, teachers, policy representatives, and community stakeholders, of course, that will be committed to act in favor of EU values. So not only the teachers' role will be upgraded, but also inclusive and democratic learning environment will be established also in this interactive way. So let's focus on the simulation action and why this is very important in order to create the future democratic European citizens. So this simulation action actually is about pupils as well as about educators. So we have chosen to organize a European Parliament simulation exercise in which pupils will participate, and they will have several roles that we will see which are these roles. So this action, we believe that it can be conducted both virtually and face-to-face. We have chosen to do it face-to-face, but this it is possible to be in a virtual context. But of course, face-to-face is better in terms of interactiveness. So the Hellenic Association of Political Scientists will cooperate actually closely with all the schools that will be interested in sending students to the simulation exercise, or with the schools of primary and secondary education that will be interested in organizing a local and regional simulation, because we will also offer our tips which comes from our experience in such activities. And we believe that this is very, very important, and of course for primary and secondary education students, pupils, because if we build from the very beginning all the necessary values to these students, if we cultivate these values, then we will create a better future for everyone in the European context. So that's why we believe that these actions are very important. So the Hellenic Association of Political Scientists has already prepared and the study guide of the simulation action, and will organize this simulation. So the guide is also available for all ambassadors of Teachers for Europe and for partners. So we will focus on the European Parliament, and this will be organized in Athens under the academic coordination of Professor Fotinias Deraki, who we want to thank for this opportunity and for the great cooperation. So this simulation action, the aim of this action, first of all, what we want to do, to teach pupils the way the European Parliament functions, and thus this is the way to actually focus on the importance of democratic institutions. If pupils know what is the importance of this democratic institution, what they are actually doing there, and why this is very important for our lives, for our everyday lives, then they will understand also the values that is also connected with. So this is actually something which is crucial for citizens who want to participate, to have an opinion, to build an opinion, to know the different opinions, and also to be interactively cultivate these opinions and debate on that opinions. So what are we going to simulate? Well, actually the consultation and the legislative process of the European Parliament will be simulated, and this will be simulated through the performance of the main roles from the participants. So the pupils will have the main roles of the European Parliament. These are the members of different groups of the European Parliament, political groups. So they will also learn about the different opinions of these groups, and journalists and the board members of the European Parliament. So what the pupils will gain? Actually, they will be able to understand both the functions and of this institutional preparatory process, and the differences between party groups based on the different ideological backgrounds. So this is also something very important. They will learn specific aspects of the different ideological backgrounds, and also they will try to debate on these differences, and of course to respect them, to respect the different opinion, which is something actually one of the main pillars of democracy, to respect the different opinion. So the stages when we prepare this simulation project: first of all, we should prepare the educators through seminars and webinars, such as this webinar, and then to provide the materials, directions, and study guides, and prepare all the details for the implementation of the simulation. That's why I said that we have already prepared the study guide, which is analytical, and we will show you specific aspects of this study guide, and all the materials that are very important for the students in order to be prepared before, months before the participation in this simulation, because we want them to prepare, to search, to learn several things before the participation. Thirdly, the educators will prepare the pupils for the implementation of the simulation through specific directions, lessons, and actually they will also simulate aspects of the process. And then is the implementation of the simulation. So you see that there are specific steps before the implementation of the simulation, which are crucial in order to achieve better results in the implementation of the action. So why it is important to simulate such an institution, and what we will gain through the experiential learning. First of all, pupils will, who will participate in these simulations actually will learn about the decision-making procedures of the European Parliament. So, European Parliament is one of the major institutions of the European Union. So they will learn how they work, how the institutions work, how the European Parliament works, and also several aspects of how it interacts with other institutions, such as the Commission. Secondly, young people will not only learn with a formalistic way these decision-making processes, but also through their emulation and, of course, their active participation in policy formulation. They will actually simulate a policy formulation. They will amend. So this is very important. They will interactively participate in the creation of a European law. So this is something that will give them specific competencies and skills and knowledge about all the processes of lawmaking in the European Union. Of course, the implementation of the simulation will offer the opportunity for enhancing participatory democracy and European citizenship. So through the discussion, through the debate, through the discussion on issues such as the European citizenship, they will learn the values. They will use these values in this debate that they will do, and they will also respect the different opinions. They will learn the different opinions, and also the procedure of the creation of laws, which is something crucial. At the end also of the simulation processes, we expect a wave effect among pupils, as long as they will spread the awareness on the issues of democracy. We have seen that from past actions, such actions, that this works as a wave effect. They learn these things, they learn the values, and then they spread these values, they spread this knowledge to other pupils, to other people. So this is extremely, extremely important. And this wave effect actually works as a democratic multiplier, which creates a positive impact on the society towards democratic participation and, of course, awareness of the European citizenship. So we expect from such actions to create better citizens, to create citizens that they will participate in democratic procedures in the future. So we use the method of experiential learning. Why this method is important? Because, first of all, we have a concrete experience. We engage the pupils directly in an authentic situation. This is a simulation of an authentic situation, of an authentic process. So we engage the students to that, and they participate in and they interact. Also, there is a reflective observation, so they notice what happened and relate to past experience and conceptual understandings. There is an abstract conceptualization, where there is a distilling perceptions into abstract concepts, so they learn, they know some abstract concepts. And then there is the active experimentation, where they test new ideas and they hone skills in a new experience. So they build their skills, they build their values there. So we said that a study guide is very important, and a study guide in a proper way. So what about the study guide? Every simulation process action should have a study guide which should have all the necessary information about the European Parliament and the European parties. So what are some tips about this study guide? First of all, the language and the language of the guide. So the language should be written in simple way because it should fit the pupils' knowledge, and of course it should enrich the linguistic background of the pupils. We mean that there should be something like a balance between new concepts and a simple language, so they can engage in their knowledge this new concept, but they also understand the language used. So this is something like trying to keep a balance between new concepts and the simple language. So the study guide also should include all the necessary information about the European Parliament and about the related processes. The context of the European Parliament, it's not only the European Parliament, it's the context with the European Commission, for example. So this is very important to understand the concept. What is the European Union and what is the role of the European Parliament in that concept. Also, the meaning and the written material should be very, very, very clear and understandable to the pupils. Otherwise, they won't be able to participate in a proper way. And it should give stimuli and incentives to pupils for acquiring new knowledge. So it should make them try to find new concepts, try to search about them, try to search to the internet, to books, several things about the European Union, for example, or the European Parliament, or the values. So this is something that should give incentives to them. About the content should have all the necessary images, graphics, which are easier to conceptualize, so that pupils can understand them, learn and study better and easier, and remember specific things from graphs or images. With all of these, we can say that the study guide is one of the basic ways for pupils in order to learn and prepare, because we said that the study guide is in the second step of the preparation process. So we create the study guide, and the pupils should have several months before the time to study this study guide and to understand everything. And along with the webinars or the specific study they do, they will be able to participate effectively. So the study guide, in our case for the European Parliament simulation action, what we have included: an introduction and a welcome address with specific introductory things, and then the main legislative institutions of the European Union. So the context, as I said, because it's important to understand not only just the European Parliament, but in which context is the European Parliament belongs, the European Parliament belongs, in which context it works and interrelates. So after that, we have to analyze the simulation of the European Parliament. So what we are going to do exactly, and then the legislative procedure and the role descriptions. So what are the process that we will simulate, and what are the roles that they are called to represent there, and of course some tips about how they can prepare themselves, the pupils can prepare, and then the topic that we will discuss. In this case, we will discuss about the European citizenship, which is one of the main topics in order to actually foster the European values. So there we have to say about the European citizenship, and in order for the students, for the pupils to understand what exactly is. And then some details on the European political groups, the European Parliament political groups, and about their position in the European citizenship, because the pupils should have a role there, and they will be, for example, representatives, and they should represent the values and the ideology of a party, from these parties, of the real party. So they should know the different opinions, they should know the different ideological backgrounds, and they should be able to represent these based on their role. So this is actually very important, because there they should understand what exactly are the differences, and also they should respect the different opinions. At the end, we should include the rules of procedure for the European Parliament, because they should follow these rules, and they should learn these rules, how the European Parliament exactly works. So we have prepared here some graphs about the study for the study guide. So about the general information, such as the national appointment by country, in order to understand what exactly how exactly this is the composition of the European Parliament. So these are two examples of graphs that we have used. So of course here, for example, we can actually make them understand not to forget to cite the graphs, for example, where they use. So if we make this familiar to the pupils, then it will be easier for them when they will become students in the university to cite the graphs or whatever they find in the internet or in books. So it will be easier for them to create a proper essay. Here the study guide, for example, has some details on the political groups, as I told you before, and the rules of procedure for the European Parliament. So you see that here we try to use a simple language in order to actually explain all of these different aspects, and to increase their knowledge on these issues. So what are the expected outcomes of this action? First of all, to empower young people towards democracy and its benefits. And how this will happen? The simulation will empower the young participant through the experiential learning of the European Parliament simulation. And because we will discuss about a topic such as European citizenship, then in this way we will enhance the concepts of human rights, of tolerance, solidarity, youth engagement, gender and general equality, and awareness of participation in this European context, and of course citizenship. In this way we believe that we will achieve the maximum possible results for the essential non-formal education, because we are actually using non-formal methods, and also to build information and awareness, and actually to give all the prerequisites that every citizen needs in order to actually participate in the society, so to prepare the future citizens. Of course, we believe that only this approach prepare and achieve the essential and integrated democratic identity of an active citizen in the 21st century, because we think that this can only happen through the active participation, through the interaction. And this is a way, this non-formal way of education is interactive, and can cultivate all these values and knowledge. So that's why we use the experiential learning, because it is a feeling for pupils and a way of interactive learning. It can strengthen the democratic dialogue, as I told you, with debate and the respect of the different opinion. Build on coexistence and tolerance, and create the future democratic European citizens. So this is something very, very important. So here you can find some references, and I would like to thank you for the opportunity to give you this webinar. And also I would like to tell you that we are available for any questions and any queries you may have, of course, and don't hesitate to contact us if you need any assistance and any information. Thank you again very much.